Hey everybody, my name is Steph and I am a BA for HONA, and today we are going to be going through how to recreate this festival style nail art which is perfect for summer. We're going in with Wham, which is this stunning lime colour with a lovely shimmer through it, real festival vibes. You only need a thin coat with HONA gels, they're super pigmented. If you have any excess, take it off the brush like so. Just one super thin coat to start off with. Going in with our second layer of Wham, again making sure that the layer is nice and thin, wiping off any excess that you don't need. Just want to make sure we get two coats for a nice pigmented base for our nail art design. Just going over the nail a few times with the brush just to make sure that it's completely flat, even, seeing if there's any excess that I don't need. I always go in after curing for 60 seconds each layer with some IPA just to wipe off the tacky layer that the gel leaves. It's best for, I find, when I'm drawing lines with the detail paints, just want a nice matte surface. Going in with the striper brush, the longest striper brush that HONA do. I have cut mine down so it is a little bit thinner as well. Don't know if you can see that on the screen. And we are going to go in with Venetian, which is a fluorescent pink. It is stunning. Now when I load my brush up, I like to dip it in the pot and twizzle it round, so make sure that all of the bristles are coated. So I'm just rolling it round and then I bring it to the edge and just pull the excess off. I find that it creates less mess if I'm just doing it in the pot and just making sure that all of the bristles are coated and just pulling it out and wiping off all of the excess that I don't need. When I come to paint the lines for the checkerboard, I'm going to pick a spot and I'm going to completely commit. So once I'm there, I'm just going to pull down quickly and it's done. I feel like with lines, especially vertical lines, the best thing you can do is just commit. So again, I'm loading the brush back up, making sure I don't have too much on there, making sure it's as even as possible, sizing up where I want the line to be. Again, just making sure it's not overflowing with product, picking where I want it to go and commit. I think that's the best tip with long vertical lines, is to just commit. Now we're going in with the horizontal lines. I do mine one at a time. You'll see I'm just picking where I want my first line to be. I'm trying to get them as even as possible. I want the squares to look as close to the same size as possible. I'm just going down the middle first as well. I don't do my lines across all at once. So again, just checking what I've got on the brush, checking where I want the line to be, and just going across. Trying to get them as even as possible. Just check in. And then when I move to the side, I just do one side at a time. So I'm just pulling it down. Again, trying to make sure it's as even as possible, making sure I've got enough product on my brush. Pulling it down, and then I will switch to the other side and I'll do exactly the same. So that's how I do my vertical lines across. I don't do them in one big line because I feel like, especially the nail is curved, that can be quite difficult to get it right all across, whereas this way it's easier to control a shorter line. Now we're going to go in and just put this in for a flash cure for 10 seconds. But there you go, that's the start of our checkerboard. Now I'm going to take a bit more product and I'm just going to pick my first coloured in square. So I always normally go for the middle square. Again, don't take too much product because the detail paints are really, really pigmented. You don't need to. Just work that product through the square, pulling it down even with a small blob, there'll still be enough on there because they are very, very pigmented. And also you don't want to put too much product because you don't want the nail to be sort of lumpy. So keep it nice and smooth. And with a checkerboard, we want to do the squares that are diagonal. So we want to make sure that above and to the sides of the square we've just coloured in, that we keep that the base colour to keep that checkerboard effect. So as you can see, I'm just going in and doing the nail to the top that is diagonal, leaving squares clear that are to the left and the right directly. And again, just making sure that you're not loading up with too much product. You really don't need a lot. Like I said, the pigment of the detail paint is so good. You don't need a lot. And then just picking our next square once we're happy with that one. You can always carry a cleanup brush with you as well. Just keep it on the side. So if you do go over, you can just quickly put it in some IPA and just do a little bit of a touch up if you need to. Sometimes, we can all make mistakes like I just did there. I wasn't happy, so I've just gone in, taken the brush, just making sure the lines are still straight. Because we've flash cured our base grid, we can wipe and the grid won't go. So it's just the squares that are wet. And again, just going in with the diagonal square to the original square we did, making sure that it's flush to the sides. And again, just getting a little blob if you need it, but just keeping the product minimal because you really don't need a lot. I also find that I can do all of the squares at once because the detail paint doesn't move, which is great. So now we've got all our squares coloured in. This has gone in for a full 60-second cure. I'm putting the non-wipe Super Shine top coat on top because we're going to chrome on top of this. And when I chrome, I like to do a non-wipe and then buff that off. It's just a nice even layer. That's perfect. And then here we are, I've buffed this off screen and I've wiped it with IPA. So when I chrome, I always buff and wipe with IPA. That is how I find I never get any chrome dust that sticks to places you don't want it to stick. You get really neat, precise chrome application. So now we're going in with the HONA dotting tool and our black detail paint. I've got quite a lot on the dotting tool and I'm just doing them little dots to create a flower shape and just pulling the excess into the middle to create that kind of groovy flower shape. So we're going to do that flower shape on all of the squares that we've coloured in. So again, just keeping the dots spaced out far enough that the detail paint doesn't touch each other, and just with the excess on the dotting tool, just drag them into the middle. Don't have to be super precise about this, just making sure that the dots aren't touching, so you're still getting that nice flower shape. If you feel like the dots are touching or you don't feel comfortable, you can cure in between, but what I would say is that you must chrome in between as well, because with the HONA cube you really only need to be in curing it on the 30-second setting for 20 seconds. It's very powerful. And if you were to leave the chrome without chroming it and cure it every single time, the original flower that you did first just wouldn't chrome. So if you are going to cure in between, definitely chrome as well, which is fine, whatever you feel comfortable with. I do find that I don't need to do that because the detail paint stays where you want it to stay, as long as you're not over flooding the dotting tool and just making sure that you're not putting the dots too close together. But sometimes, it can't be helped. I've done it many times where the dots become all one shape. So just keep an eye If you feel like one's going to flood into it, then I would cure and just chrome as you go. But again, totally personal preference. And just not forgetting the little squares at the top as well to keep all the design cohesive. Any way you can, just what the pattern would be. So that's it finished now. So now we put that in for a 20-second cure on the 30-second settings. So now you can see I've already chromed with the Singapore Sling, which is the lilac chrome. It's stunning. And again, just buffed it in, only 20 seconds on the HONA cube on the 30-second setting. That's all it really needs. Any more and potentially the chrome will not stick. You'll find that it's almost too cured for the chrome to stick. So now we're going in with the other end of the dotting tool, still with the black detail paint, and we are just going to do a little dot inside all of the flowers so that they look like little flowers. Again, don't need to cure in between, don't need loads of product, just go along, little dot in all of the flowers that are showing. Perfect, cure for 20 seconds. And then we're going in with Mai Tai, which is this stunning green sort of slash yellow, really bright. I feel like it ties in with Wham really nicely. And again, just straight over, rubbing in circular motions, making sure that you've really rubbed in the chrome to get that nice shine. And then we're going to go in with a soft bristled brush. I'm just using a makeup brush here and just wipe off the excess. As you can see, that none of the chrome has stuck. When you wipe with IPA, you really are setting yourself up for the best application of chrome. And again, nothing's coming off because the brush is soft bristled. Everything's where it should be. And there we have it, the finished look. I have gone in with just the Super Shine top coat, but if I was doing this on a client or myself, I would go in with a base coat before. That's what I find gives chrome the best longevity when doing clients or myself, is it needs a base coat underneath the top coat to really seal in the chrome and keep it looking fresh for the whole manicure length. So definitely, if I was doing this on a client, I would have probably put clear builder just to protect the chrome. And I know that it would come back looking fresh. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I can't wait to see some of your recreations on socials. Thank you so much for following along, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.